Oliver McTernan, you've been a negotiator. If you'd been behind this truce, what would you be thinking and doing right now after seeing these actions?
Well, first of all, I think the public commentary that we're getting, and in particular the words of Prime Minister Netanyahu tonight, explaining why he felt the military option was the only one, that is far from helpful. I'd like to remind him of the words of the Qatari Prime Minister when this truce present ceasefire began, when he reminded him that it was mediation, not bombing, that brought the hostages home. And I think that is the message that needs to get across. But I've been told from my contacts within Israel that, in fact, it's in his own interests to continue this war at least until the end of March, because he has to get through the budget if his government is going to survive. And we see today, by relaunching the military approach, giving priority to that, Ben Gvir has now returned to his government, and the chances of the budget being passed by the end of March, I think, has increased. But the consequences of that is the loss, as we saw today, of more civilian lives.
And these bombings are expected to continue. Netanyahu said that this is just the beginning. Where does that leave the remaining hostages?
Well, I think it puts all of their lives at risk. Right at the beginning of this terrible event, and October 7th, let's face it, was horrendous. Well, right at the beginning, I know a message went to the Israelis saying that all 139 civilian hostages could be returned without any precondition, but they needed a ceasefire because simply they didn't know where all of the hostages were being kept. I think there's probably better understanding now or knowledge of where hostages are. But I think the bombing does put their lives at risk. And I think for the families of the hostages, it must be a very anxious time, as it is indeed an extremely anxious time for the 2.3 million people living in real inhumane conditions in Gaza.